How's it going, everybody at YouTube? This is your host Tea Time, and today I'm coming to you guys with my review to episode 3 of The Last of Us TV series that's on HBO Max. This episode was definitely very much different than what I expected going into the third episode, especially after how things left off after episode 2. Like I always do, I play the game before I watch the TV show, so I could get a freshly visual of things that happened in the game from the TV show. And boy, this episode was totally much different, like very much different than the game, really, honestly. But it was much different, but not. It was completely different. Where the reason I say is a lot different than the game is because it's not that they took out one thing, but everything else was added. They expanded in a way. This whole episode is really just about Bill and Frank, which is who these people right here. And to let you guys know more, Bill is played by Nick Offerman, and Frank is played by Murray Bartlett. Sorry if I butchered his last name. And in the game, we really don't get a backstory with Bill and Frank. We don't get none of that. All we get in the game is that Joel and Ellie run into Bill. Bill basically gonna help them with their journey, and then once he helps them with their journey, that's it. We don't see Bill ever again. We don't know nothing about Bill after that. Whereas in the TV show, this whole episode is around Bill and Frank. Their time together, their lives together, everything. So looking into it, I was interested because in the game, I did want to know more about Bill. I honestly did. I wanted to know like what got him there, what started him there, and everything. What happened to him after Joel and Ellie left him. So the only thing that they twisted with this was that the ending, Bill's story, how it ends differently than how it ended in the game. And I'm not mad. I'm not upset about it because this episode was very good. I really liked it. Another 10 out of 10. Another 10 out of 10 episode. Actually, I didn't look into it, but from other people, other reviewers that I've been seeing, they said that this TV show's ratings has been going higher and higher with each episode, and I don't see why not. They're doing a wonderful, excellent job when it comes to everything in this TV show and making sure they keep the key elements and the key elements, key visuals, key dialogue, key storytelling from game to TV show, and it's perfect. It was perfect. Perfect. Down to the minor detail. Perfect. If I could say anything that I didn't like about this episode, it'll be nitpicking. It'll really be nitpicking, honestly. It'll only be nitpicking if, you played the game, in my opinion. If you haven't played the game, I don't see why you would give this anything less than an 8. If you really want to go there, less than an 8. But me, I'm giving it a 10, not just because I played the game, but it's just like I said, if I could take my mind off the game and watch it, in my opinion, I would give it a 10 out of 10 off this episode, and based on episode 1 and 2 up to this point, because it was really nice. It was very, very nice. From once again, they had 2 great actors bring these 2 characters to life, and it was just done very well. Some of the decisions that was made during this episode, like I said, it'll be nitpicking because I'll be like, why would you do that? Knowing how you described yourself and you handle things. His character, Bill. I'll just say Bill's character there's something that Bill does here that basically is not showing me who he is as he portrays himself to be, and that's really the only really thing. And then there's some other stuff that's outside of them too, that these two new characters that we are introduced to that could be I mean, in that day and age, how everything's going on in the Last of Us world is Maybe, I don't know, but um, yeah, it's really nice. It's really good. Like, I can't really say nothing bad about the episode so far. Nick off I can't pronounce I gotta pronounce his last name right. I was trying to do it without looking at my notes. Now I got my phone. So Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman. I'm trying to remember what other TV show movie I've seen him in. Like, it's been a while. It's for me, for him, it's been a while. But I know he's a familiar face. Definitely a familiar face. Murray Bartlett, I really don't know. Actually, I'm gonna just look. I'm just looking to see what other roles that he played in, because I've seen him in something else. We Are the Millers. He was in We Are the Millers. Wow. Who did he play? Because I seen that movie, but I'm sorry if I'm getting off track, but I really don't remember who he played in We Are the Millers. Don Fitzgerald. Okay, he did play that. He did play that. Okay, okay. Um, Murray Bartlett. Let me see. What other movies that he played in? If let me see. Uh, Iron Fist. I didn't really pay attention to Iron Fist. I really didn't. So really, yeah. So Murray Bartlett, he's like the only one. He's the one that I really don't have like a real remembrance of. But like, if since it's like my first time really like paying attention to him and his and acting, I'm like, he so they both sold these characters. Honestly, I'm gonna explain more about it in the spoiler section of the review, but yeah, they sold these characters, especially since they, like I said, they're expanding. They expanded on their story in the Last of Us world. I'm just like, yeah, they really sold these characters. Um, Visuals, wonderful as always. Characters brought to life, perfect. The actors who did it was perfect. The dialogue was perfect, and it's like I like this because most of the game, I'm sorry, most of the TV show, they like took most of the dialogue from the game, mostly. Well, you get most of that in the beginning of the episode, because I say like maybe like the first 30 minutes, I say, of 25 minutes. That first portion of the episode is Joel and Ellie, all about them and what they're going on right now. Then the rest is all Bill and Murray, and then like the last like 10 minutes of the episode is back to Joel and Ellie, basically. But you get like the game dialogue with like some like little twists here and there in it in the beginning with Joel and Ellie, and then after that, all new, all new dialogue. Nothing from the game. Nothing that you could be like, oh, they said that in the game. Oh, they did that in the game. Nothing. It is nothing. It's all fresh, new content, and just to see like a new way of like how, cause in Bill and Frank's story time of the episode, Joel and Tess show up. Also, oh my goodness, it just came to me, y'all. It really just came to me while I'm doing this review. I gotta go back. Let me go back. Um, Anna Torvey. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. My condolences to her friends. My condolences to her family. I was told that she passed away. I don't know what made her pass away. Like, I think she was found like an illness, I think. But my condolences to her friends. My condolences to her family. Like, I know after like this and everything, or even before that, like how long it was going on and everything. My condolences to everybody that been with her, cared for her, loved her. My condolences. I am truly, truly sorry that it happened and everything. Um, I really don't know. I'm gonna look into it too. I really don't know what other TV shows or movies that she played in. Maybe maybe I do, but it's probably been a minute. Like, let me see. Yeah, I don't. let me go to let me go to TV shows. If she was in any of the TV shows that I know. Yeah, I don't. But from what I've seen, she's been acting for a while, for like a while. Like the oldest one I could see is like 2002. There's some other ones longer than that, but they don't have like 2000, yeah, 2002. But there's some other ones after that, but I don't see anymore. But um, my condolences to her friends, to her family, everybody care for her. It's a tough time, but yeah. So like I said, overall 10 out of 10 this episode. I'm gonna go ahead right into the spoiler section of the video. So if you haven't seen the episode, you want to check it out, this video, click off. Links to my social down below. Please follow me on all those. Hit the bell to be notified for when I drop new content, reviews for TV shows, movies, or when I go live for my video games. When I go live for The Last of Us Part 1, I do that every Saturday until I get done with it. It's gonna be a Saturday thing. To everybody else that's played the game, seen the TV show, we're gonna get right into the spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So, the episode takes place right after Tessa's passing. Um, Joel and Ellie are in the woods. Ellie took a nap. Joel is washing his hands because I guess his hands still hurt from when he beat the guard and everything. So, the soldier. So while he's doing that, he's upset. He's mad. You know, Tess passed away. They had like a love interest or whatever. They've been working together for a long time. Clearly, they've been working together for like a very long time. I say like since the pandemic started, because when we see in Bill and Frank's story time of the episode, they actually Joel and Tess go to where Bill and Frank are and meet them for the first time and everything. And that was like during when everything was still fresh. Like say like maybe like before 10 years before everything, not 10 years before, like, but like the whole thing been going on for 20 years. The first 10 years that they met Frank and Bill. But you know, Joe's upset and everything, and Ellie's trying to talk to him, but like Joe's upset. And before Joe get the word, like Ellie is like, "Look, you guys knew what you signed up for. You knew the risk. You knew the danger. Don't blame me for none of this." And Ellie has a point. Ellie has a very logical point. Like, they both knew what could happen. They both knew what going outside the walls would do. What would happen if you get bit? What would happen if you get caught? What would happen trying to take her to the Fireflies? They knew. They knew for a fact. So at that point, Joe's like, I can't say nothing. So they continue to go to where Bill is, cause before Tess died, Tess told Joe, like, take her to Bill. You know what Bill is at. He can help you guys get her to the Fireflies and everything. And it was like a 5-hour walk. That's what Joe told Elliot. So they start walking and everything. And before they start walking, they get to like the is the scavenging part of the TV show, or I guess looking for supplies, basically. Because in the video game, you do that a lot. Like, you gotta look for like supplies, like stuff to heal you, stuff to make knives, gun, ammo, all that stuff. And while we're looking, we get to the section of the part where they run to like this restaurant or something like that, and Ellie sees it's the Mortal Kombat 1 or 2 arcade game, and she's like, "Whoa! I heard stories about that. I heard there's one girl that could like rip your face off with her teeth and eat you and then spit you out, all that good stuff and everything." You gotta remember, Ellie's like, she said she's 14, so she was born when the pandemic started. So she ain't had time to play none of that. That game's old as hell, but Joe know about it. And they had to do it that way because the game that Ellie actually did play in the video game was not that. It was a made-up game in the video game. I thought they was going to go into more depth about the game, but they didn't. So I wonder how they going to end up twisting things when it gets to Ellie's big story time, her past, and how she got bit and everything. But we'll see. It's probably going to be good. The episode's been good so far, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be good too. So while Joel is searching around for ammo and like supplies and everything, Ellie finds not the dungeon, but I guess like the basement, up halfway to the basement. And when she goes down there, she finds an infected turning into a clicker. So a level 1 turning into level 2, and it's stuck, like it can't move. And she's a little girl, a kid, a child. she's fascinated. Cuts him in the head, and you get to see like the fungus forming in the head. And I was like, oh man, that shit's nasty, you know. But after she cuts him, she kills it, And to me, that kind of shows Ellie's like she she's not your regular teenager. I feel like most teenagers wouldn't even go near it. I mean, they'll be curious, but wouldn't get that close. You feel me? I know I wouldn't. I'll just be like, oh, you stay there. I'm going back up there. That's me. But she went over there to cut it because she's fascinated. Then she kills it. So I feel like Ellie, when shit hits the fan, if she can, she will kill. She will kill. You know. But she goes back up to where Joel is, and Joel's throwing away the M4. Talk about something. There's no ammo. We don't need it. That's one nitpick I would say. Like he should have kept it because it's like later on he Bill basically gives him everything that he has, and Bill has hella weapons. Why didn't you just keep the gun and restock on the gun? That was a waste. But story plot wise, I guess he don't know what could have happened along the way. It could have slowed him down. I don't know how, but I would have took that motherfucker and used it as a weapon. But that's me. So he decides to hide it in the store. I don't know why. I guess so nobody else would get it. Kind of dumb to me, but I don't know. So they're going on the path to Bill's, and Ellie's asking him a whole lot of questions like. I guess they're like having like a somewhat bonding moment in a way. Not a real bond, but like, pass the time conversation bond. She's like, how'd you get cut? Are you always a bad shot? This and that. What happened in the beginning, how everything started? And he answered, he was like, nah, my hand messed up from hitting old dude, basically. I'm not always a good shot. That happens sometimes. Some guy shot at me and missed, so that's why I got a scar on my face. And then he also goes to tell like how the infection started, because Ellie, she was like, I believe it probably started with monkeys. The whole monkey thing, everything, monkeys spread it and all that stuff. And Joe was like, no, it had actually with bread. Because, I'm trying to see how can I explain it right. Bread starts having mold and all that stuff. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not that up to date with it, but he was basically saying like it was in the bread, the cereal, and all that stuff. And when people ate it, it got into their system, which basically started the infection and everything. So I feel like that also ties into like why the scientist from Indonesia, she was like, there's nothing we can do. There's no cure for this. You got to actually bomb the whole city because it's in the bread, it's in the cereal, all that stuff. So that's how it happened. He said, he was like, it was in the bread and the cereal on a Saturday. By Monday, everything was gone. So it was like what, like, and within 3 days, the whole world was fucked. That's crazy. Within 3 days. So as they're walking, Joe notices the pathway he's going towards Bill, and he tells Ellie, he's like, let's go through the woods. And she's like, why? He was like, there's something up there you shouldn't see. And she's like, is it going to kill me? He's like, no. She's like, okay, I want to see. Being a curious teenager, that's fine. Until they get there and she sees what happens. So apparently, when everything started, the government was taking people to the QZ zone, to be safe and everything. And basically, like anybody that they couldn't fit in the QZ anymore, it was over. They was like turn around and killed them right on the spot. They didn't care, men, women, and children. If you couldn't get into the QZ no more, they're killing you on the spot. So, yeah, they was taking people to safety, but once that safety number limit is over, you're dead. So, that was tough. Like, I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I like how the TV show is, like, explaining more about things that happened 20 years before than we just seeing this and not really, like, knowing, like, how that happened. And everything. So when Joel and Ellie see that, that's when we cut from that and we cut to the past and we get Bill's introduction. Bill, he says he's a survivalist. he doesn't like the government. He believes the government are Nazis, and he doesn't believe nothing about the government. So when they was evacuating his town, he stayed on the ground at his house to avoid them from like finding him and taking him with them. So once they finally take everybody, that's when Bill comes up. He comes up and he basically takes charge of the town, starts scavenging for items, putting up defenses, everything for him to survive basically for the rest of his life. And it does work. You see like one infected coming towards his gate and sets up a trap, boom, shoots it in the head. So Bill, yeah, he is a survivalist. Like he's ready, guns, gates, traps, everything. So he's good for the time being until one day Frank, who was right there, falls in one of his traps in the hole, and Bill goes over to see him. He's like, "Are you bitten?" No, and he lets him off the ladder. As he climbs the ladder, he tells him to stop, checks him, he's clear, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm from the Boston QZ, so everybody's dead, everybody's gone. I'm trying to get I think he was trying to. I think he was trying. Either he said Baltimore or Boston. He was just trying to get to like another safe place, and Bill was like, "It's that way. Keep going that way." But I guess Bill took pity on him because one, he's probably been alone for like a long ass time, and two, the man said he was hungry. He was like, "You got any food or anything?" Like, haven't eaten in like 3 days. So Bill lets him in his house, lets him wash up, eat his food and everything. Basically like lets him come in. Like shoot, I've been lonely for like this long time. Some company would be nice. So after he lets him in, feeds him, clothes him, everything, Frank sees his piano, starts playing Frank's tailback at the piano, and then Bill's like, "No, let me show you how it's done." And he starts playing piano, and he's very, very good. And this is the part that caught me off guard. Well, it didn't catch me off guard, but everything afterwards caught me off guard. So in the game, it kind of tells you that like Bill and Frank had a relationship, like not a friendship but a relationship. They basically loved each other basically. But we don't get to see that at all in the game. The only time you see that is basically towards the end of Bill's involvement in the game is when you see Hank hung himself, and he was like, "Who was that?" He was like, "He was my partner," and you could tell that Bill's upset that he lost his partner. In the TV show, they go full all in, like they really expand on Bill's and Frank's partner relationship of them being together, loving each other, all that. We do get a part in it where Frank and Bill like basically had an argument like a married couple, and in my opinion, I thought that's when they was gonna separate, but no, they decided to stay together. During that argument, Frank tells Bill like we're gonna have company, and this is where Joel and Tess come in. They meet Frank and Bill for the first time because Frank was in communication with Tess over the radio, and while Tess and Frank were in the house to talk more about everything, Bill and Joel are sitting outside eating, and Bill don't trust Joel. He had a gun to the table like, "You even twitch, I'm gonna shoot you," basically. But Joel's like telling him like, "I understand, I get it. I feel the same way as you do. I wouldn't want nobody in my space, in my place, if I didn't know them or trust them. But look here, I see your fences. You got like a nice perimeter and defense, but all this is gonna be wear and tear within like a year or two. If you want, I could give you like some really tough wires or fence, something that could last you for your whole life, basically." And Frank's like, "Okay." And Bill's like, "Okay, I hear you. We could trade here and there." So I guess like for like the past maybe 19 years, Tess and Joe, Frank, Bill was trading with each other, different things and everything. Before they leave, we get to hear Frank and Tess's conversation, and they're talking about the how to keep in contact with the radio. If you remember from episode 1, Ellie found Joe's book, and she was like, "What are these codes? Are these codes? Like 60s good, 70s need something. What's 80s trouble?" That's what Frank and Tess were talking about. So we get the introduction of how they was able to keep in contact, and we know who they was talking to over the radio. So before Joel and Tess leave, Joel tells Frank, he was like, basically tell him like your place is nice, you got a good place to live out your lives, but be careful. Sooner or later, you're gonna have raiders. They're gonna come. They're gonna come with numbers, and they will try to kill you. And Frank's and Bill's like, we'll be ready. You don't need to worry about that. And that's the last you see of Tess and Joel for Frank and Bill's story. After that, we see some more romance. Right here, they grow flowers together. I mean, they grow strawberries together. Bill opens up, tells Frank he's sorry because I wasn't afraid of you. I was just protecting myself and everything. He says, I know. And then we get to the part where the Raiders do show up. They attack, but like Bill said, he was ready. The fences caught them on fire, electrocute them, and Frank is inside. Bill's already outside, him the net. But this is what kind of threw me off. Frank told Joe that he's a survivalist. He knows what to do. But why are you out in the middle of the street while it's raining just shooting at these guys where it's like, it's just you and like 10 of them? Like, I don't think that's what a survivalist does. I'm pretty sure a survivalist like be camped out somewhere, sniping their ass from a distance. They even show us that Bill has hella ammo and weapons in his bunker. Why don't you grab a sniper, post up somewhere in the rain, let your fence kill them off, and you take them down at the fence and enough? But that's just me. I don't know. He ended up getting shot. Frank has to take him in and like basically like help him live because he got shot in the gut. So, you know, that was bad. He had to like hurry up and help him and everything. So patches him up and they fast forward again and everything. Everything that's going on is in the time span of the beginning of the infection to 20 years now, basically, or close to 20 years now, basically, because after all that happens, we fast forward again, and Frank's in a wheelchair. Apparently, Frank has, I think he had cancer. I think he has cancer, and there's no way to help him because there's no doctors in Frank and Bill's town to help him. So at that point, Frank is like, I don't want to sit here and wait for the end. So this is what I want you to do if you really love me. We're going to go out, enjoy the nice day once again. We're going to get married. You're going to bring me back home, make me a nice dinner, and then you're going to put me to sleep. I'm going to fall asleep in your arms. Basically, I want you to poison me and let me just die in your arms. At first, Bill was like, I don't want that. But he agreed because, like, he loved him. So he did all that. And then when we got down to dinner, he put the poison in the wine, but he did it for the both of them. There was already poison in the wine, so he did a Romeo and Juliet type thing. They both took the poison. And he told Frank, and Frank was like, I should be mad at you, but that was kind of romantic. And then they both went upstairs to bed. And then next thing you know, we're in the present day. Joe and Ellie finally go to Frank's to Bill's house looking for Bill. They don't find him, so they're just looking around, see what's going on. Ellie finds a note. She reads it, and it's basically saying, like, we left the window open so it wouldn't smell. Take whatever you need, Joe, because I'm pretty sure you're the only one that's going to find this place and know the code to get in. Do what you can and keep Tess safe. And right here, we get, like, another, like, insight on Joel of like, I feel like this is really pushing Joel to really want to protect Ellie because if you play the game, you know how things end. In the end, he does end up saving Ellie, protect her. But like, they kind of like make sure that we get more reasons why he's going to save her at the end. He couldn't save Tess. Couldn't do nothing for, even though Bill and him wasn't technically friends, they respect each other, but he couldn't do nothing to help Bill. So now it's like, not only does Tess told him like save as many as you can, Bill in the afterlife is saying like do what you can to protect Tess. But since she couldn't protect Tess, Tess wants him to protect Ellie. Do what you can to protect Ellie, basically. So after reading that, he basically tells he this is when like quotes from the game come in. He tells he was like, few things. If you're gonna keep doing this, you're gonna do what I say when I say. We don't bring up tests at all. We don't bring up our histories. You just follow everything I say, basically. Basically, I'm worded differently than the game, but it was like that's basically how the game went. And Ellie was like, Whatever you say goes, word for word from the game. I like that. I liked it that. So they agreed. They decided to shower, change their clothes, freshen up because they've been traveling with no shower for like days. Joe goes to the bunker. He restocks. While he's restocking and getting the car ready for them to drive away, Ellie finds Frank's gun and she puts it in her bag because this whole time Joe's like, no gun, no gun, no gun. But Ellie's like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna keep this gun for myself. I might need it too. It's going foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. That's gonna come in handy. So once the car and the supplies are all good, they drive away, and Ellie finds one of Bill's songs in the glove compartment, puts it on, and it's the exact same song that he sung to Frank when they first met. And then the episode ends with Joel and Ellie driving off, and we get like a visual of Frank and Bill's window open as they drive away. We don't see Frank and Bill, but we kind of know what happened. And then the credits roll. So that was in that their whole story was it was beautiful. I ain't gonna cap. That shit was beautiful. I liked it. I liked it how we got, like I said, a deeper depth experience into Bill and Frank about how they were with each other that the game never did. In the game, Bill helps Joel and Eddie get a car, Barry start a car, and Bill tells Joel to get the fuck out of his town, and they left. We don't see Bill at all. Assuming he could be alive in the game, I don't know. But now that they killed him and he died in the TV show, I'm pretty sure he will never show up again in part 3 if they do part 3. But this, compared to the game, was a lot better. Because we got more in here than we did in the game. We don't know nothing about Frank in the game except for that he was Bill's lover. In here, we got more Frank, more of Bill, more of their story, and in a way, he still helped Joel out in a way. And it's even more impactful for Joel in the TV show than it is in the game because Bill don't care. Bill don't give two shits about Ellie. He's just doing a favor for Joel. In here, he doesn't know Ellie, but the fact that he left that note for Joel to tell him, like, basically the same that Tess said, protect who you can, aka protect Tess, protect Ellie. That's going to drive him more into doing it. And I liked it. I like the setups that they're doing for the ending of this TV show. And I feel like it's going to be great. But episode 3, 10 out of 10, like I said. So far, every episode, in my opinion, has been 10 out of 10. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tell me if you agree with me, 10 out of 10. If you don't, tell me what your rating is. And tell me why you feel like you rate this the way it is. Like I said before, links to my socials are down below. Please follow me on all those. Like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me how you felt about the story of Bill and Frank, man. Tell me what you thought about Bill, what you thought about Frank. Tell me what you thought about the interactions with Joel and Ellie that happened in this episode. Do you feel any different towards Joe? Do you feel any different towards Ellie? How do you feel like all this is happening with Joe is going to affect him with Ellie later down the road? If you haven't even played the game and you're just going off the TV show, how do you think the ending is going to be with Joel and Ellie up to that point? What are your assumptions? What are your speculations? I know how it's going to end, but I want to know what you guys think. Next Saturday, I will be doing part 4 of the gameplay to The Last of Us Part 1, and then episode 4 review will be either Sunday or Monday, pushing for those 2 days. Well, this was tea time. I appreciate everybody for viewing this, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Stay blessed.